So we're entering into a pretty interesting Summer Game Fest season with Grand Theft Auto 6 being delayed to May of 2026. A lot of publishers, they got some breathing room now, and that holiday season for 2025 is, I imagine, looking pretty nice. If any publishers can quickly roll out a marketing strategy and slot their game into that, fall 2025 to early 2026 window. I don't often look at Summer Game Fest as like where we're going to get the big world premieres and new announcements. Like, it's not on par with the Game Awards in terms of the hype levels that you need to go into this show expecting, but we are in kind of a weird period right now where I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of publishers rush to the stage to be like, hey, we're putting our stamp on this game. We're launching February 2026 for games that were kind of in limbo, games that different publishers were just sort of waiting to see what date GTA 6 would officially lock down. So I don't know. This is a weird year for Summer Game Fest. I feel like it could be one of the better ones, or it could just be another Summer Game Fest, which not bad. I'm never gonna be angry that I sit down for a couple hours and watch some video game trailers. So let's talk all about it. I kind of went a little bit overboard with this, but it's, once again, when I'm doing these predictions, I'm not necessarily predicting what I think will happen. I'm just throwing a bunch of shit at a dartboard and seeing, like, hey, I think this might be there. I think this could be there. That's kind of what this is, more than any, like, I don't think all of these are going to be here. I think some of these could be here. So let's jump in. So let's separate it by like release dates. Games I think will get release dates and sort of updated information for. And then we'll do the world premieres, like the big shit. We'll save that for last. Light No Fire. So this is, Hello Games, the No Man's Sky team, their next big project. Hopefully not too ambitious, as they kick off their trailer by saying this we're making a game that is the size of Earth. Okay. That's I don't, sure. I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. I know No Man's Sky has been fixed and patched and updated to hell and back, and they have really worked at restoring any goodwill that their fan base will possibly loan them. So I don't know. I could see it getting a early 2026 release date, something like that. I know we saw a good bit of this game. Like, there's a good bit of gameplay available of it. So yeah, Hades 2. I assume this is probably ready for holiday 2025, if not, once again, early 2026. I think if this launches holiday 2025, it's very, very likely to be in the final 6 for Game of the Year this year. I think it's kind of a no-brainer that this is going to be fantastic. Just, I think everybody's sort of waiting on that final 1.0 release. Chronos: The New Dawn. So this is from Bloober, who has immediately become like one of everybody's must-watch studios, a studio that everybody is keeping their eye on, and now they're moving from Silent Hill to Dead Space for their inspiration with their new space horror title. I know it's supposed to come out in holiday 2025, or just 2025 in general. I'd love to see them hit that Halloween period, like sometime in October. I think this would be a perfect game to drop in October, but I could see this definitely slip into 2026. This seems pretty fucking ambitious. And I mean, once again, they're definitely building off of the lessons learned with Silent Hill 2 Remake, but I just, this has a vibe to it, man. I almost, there's a little bit more you can trust there with the Silent Hill 2 Remake in terms of the storytelling, yada, 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 but just in terms of the world, like, this world looks so sick, in my opinion, for Chronos: The New Dawn. And next up, I think we'll probably get another marketing beat for Mafia: The Old Country. It comes out in August, so, just re-reveal it here to a bigger audience. Make sure that you're hitting home that, hey, this is $50. It's $50. put that in your trailer like 24 times just to hammer that message home, because I think that's your best marketing beat. The game looks excellent, don't get me wrong, but I think that $50 price proposition is really the selling point. Dispatch. So this is the superhero Telltale thing that's, Laura Bailey and Aaron Paul, and they got like Matthew Mercer. They got a pretty stacked cast there for Dispatch. And yeah, I think we'll get the release date for this. It was supposed to come out in 2025. So I think if it's going to come out in 2025, we'll get the release date. I think even if it's not going to come out in 2025, probably get that early 2026 window announced here. Kind of has that, you're at a desk job sending superheroes out to do their job and making decisions, kind of in that Telltale vein. It kind of, I don't know if y'all played it, that Promise mascot agency. It's sort of that, a managerial thing where you're just sending out these mascots into batshit crazy. But yeah, Showa American Story. So speaking of batshit crazy, this is about as batshit as you get. It's kind of Suda 51 inspired, but also kind of like GTA open world sandboxy. Like, I don't know. It might be too ambitious. It might be one of those things where this never comes out. I believe it's being developed by a Chinese studio, and the whole idea of the game is that Japan colonized America. And so, like, all of your prominent American, establishments are now run by the Japanese. And yeah, it's a really interesting concept. I think the game looks fun as shit. You're seeing characters like do, different mini games. They're working out, lifting weights. Like, it looks very, very ambitious. Maybe too ambitious, but I don't know. I'd love to see more of it. Marvel 1943. So this is that Amy Hennig project, the Captain America Black Panther game. This was supposed to come out in 2024. It didn't. Supposed to come out in 2025. We still haven't seen a millisecond of gameplay. I think it's probably time to start worrying about this. Like, if this thing is going to be something that ever launches at all, starting to get that feeling like, oh, something might be wrong here. It just seems like it's being marketed more as like a Unreal Engine 5 showpiece, more so than a video game that we'll actually get to play. Like, nobody knows anything about how this game plays. Like, I'm sure obviously the team working on it, but in terms of, I don't think anybody has went hands-on with it. I don't think anybody has seen, like, anybody in the press, anybody in the media has seen the game running in like raw gameplay of it at all. So I don't know, kind of a little bit worried for that one, I can't lie. Blood of the Dawnwalker. So this is coming to us from some ex-CDPR talent playing as a vampire in this kind of morally ambiguous world. It's this big open world RPG. I don't even know if it's actually all that big. I think they said around like 25 hours, which is music to my fucking ears. We need more 25 hour RPGs. But yeah, I know we're supposed to see gameplay of it this summer, so hopefully that's what we get here. And I would assume a release date for this is one that I could see being like late 2026 or early 2027. Maybe we don't even get like an official window for it, just a quick gameplay shot. Let us know kind of how the game is going to function in terms of the moment-to-moment feel of it. But yeah, I love the tone from that initial cinematic trailer that we got. Virtua Fighter 6. So RGG is incredibly busy. I would much rather see that Project Century game than Virtua Fighter 6 here, but I'm assuming it's going to be Virtua Fighter next, then Project Century probably sometime to close out this generation. And then, of course, in between that, you'll have like fucking 47 Yakuza games. But yeah, Virtua Fighter 6, we got that like conceptual gameplay trailer where you're seeing all the unbelievable animations in terms of just how detailed each movement is with the characters. Once again, it's completely conceptual. That's not real gameplay that you're seeing on screen right now. But yeah, I'm curious to see more of it, just to see what that concept evolves into in terms of actual gameplay. Skate Story. So speaking of concept evolving into actual gameplay and something that I'm excited to see, something that we have known about for a while, this has been in development for quite some time. I know people have went hands-on with it. There are previews out there that are pretty in-depth, and people seem to be hot on this thing who have actually, played it. But I know it's supposed to come out this year. I think it was supposed to come out like 2023 as well. I don't quote me on that, but this has been in the works for a while, so I would hope that gets a holiday or maybe like a September. This isn't one you would necessarily need. Like if you had the next trailer at Summer Game Fest in June and then you drop it in September, I think that's enough of a marketing build up, because I mean it's been talked about and discussed for years at this point. So I think people are aware of the game. And next up, Star Wars Eclipse. So this is the Quantic Dream title. And I think that Quantic Dream is okay. I don't think they suffered, I'm sure they suffered some form of layoffs, but I think the studio is still open at least. Because I know the whole NetEase debacle where they started axing a ton of their Western talent that they acquired. But yeah, I don't know. I love Detroit Become Human. I've been in a major Star Wars kick as of late, watching Andor and The Mandalorian, and just, yeah, I'm very much in the Star Wars mood. So I would be totally down for a, Quantic Dream style Star Wars adventure game. Silent Hill F. So we need a release date for this one. Once again, October 2025 would be ideal, of course. But I don't know. We haven't seen any gameplay for it as far as... I really haven't been up to date with the marketing, with the trailers, with the information for Silent Hill F. So maybe we have seen gameplay and I'm just not aware. Obviously, I'll have footage rolling for you all to look at. And if we have seen gameplay, I'll clip it in here so y'all can watch the gameplay. But yeah, I don't believe I've seen any gameplay of this thing, so maybe that's what we get here. Maybe we don't get an official release date or anything like that. Maybe this is another one that slips to 2026, but some official gameplay to let us know what the feel is going to be like, let us know what we're going to be doing when we have our hands on the controller. So yeah, Silent Hill F. Judas is another one that I would imagine Take-Two is kind of looking at as they're filling out their calendar and going, okay, well, we got Borderlands here, and we got Mafia here, and so as they're kind of filling in their NBA 2Ks and the Borderlands and the Mafia, and well, what's going to be that early 2026 game before GTA 6 that we can tell our investors about in our next financial call? I don't know. The first game from Ken Levine in over a decade. I could see that being something that you'd want to really hammer home. The guy that brought you BioShock and sold 40 million copies of this game, his new IP that we've been funding, will launch before Grand Theft Auto 6 in February of 2026. I'm not saying I could see, I wouldn't be surprised if this one slips quite a bit more, but once again, people have went hands-on with it and people had pretty positive impressions of it overall. So there is a playable build out there for Judas. I hope we see it at some point. I think the game looks really cool. Exodus. So this is from some ex-BioWare talent, and I believe this one is 2026 as well. I think they confirmed that this is 2026. So we do have a little bit of time, and we have some sort of, not concrete date, but we do have some sort of window that we're looking at here. I hope that they're able to slot that in early 2026. Once again, you do start running the risk of piling up early 2026, late 2025 titles, just everyone trying to get in before GTA 6. But I would hope that this doesn't somehow launch summer 2026 and it's like, oh, fucking A, man. Here we go. But yeah, I really want to check this thing out. So hopefully it's either really early 2026 or really late 2026. And then that's the thing as well. It's like GTA 6 could absolutely get delayed to late 2026 and it's a bloodbath all over again. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Once again, another one that was delayed and it was about to be released and then got delayed at the last minute and then got kind of indefinitely delayed and now it's pushed back to 2026. We haven't really seen anything on it, like anything since the initial delays. We haven't seen, we saw footage of the first game, but then when they totally reworked Sands of Time from the ground up, we haven't seen what the new version of Sands of Time looks like. So hopefully we could get something with that. Sleight of Hand. So this is a third-person immersive sim with deck builder elements, and it looks solid. It's something that you don't see often. It's a concept that is definitely unique. We've seen a little bit of gameplay. I know it's supposed to come out this year. I think this is one that you show at a showcase. If it has a really good showing, it could kind of move up a lot of people's most anticipated list. So hopefully if it is going to come out this year, you have a real nice trailer built up for it, because I do think there's some concepts in this game that could get people excited, but we need to see more on it. Crimson Desert. This needs to steal that holiday, that late 2025 slot. This looks absolutely fucking immaculate. It looks too good to be true. Every time I see this game, I'm like, well, I imagine that this is going to light my fucking PS5 on fire. When my PlayStation's trying to run this, I do not believe that this thing is going to be stable at all. But I know that they have their own engine, and they're building this game specifically around what that engine is capable of. And you're seeing dragons flying around and burning down villages and flying from the fucking sky. The game looks ridiculous, too good to be true. But I hope that I hope that it does come out and it lives up to. I mean, I don't even know how it could live up to my expectations, but I just hope it can live up to half of my expectations, because that looks ridiculous. Dying Light the Beast. I know, once again, this is supposed to come out in 2025. Just a little update for when we're going to be playing this. I'm really, really excited to check this out. I'm a big fan of the Dying Light games. I think they all play fantastic, and I don't think there's really any substitute for those games, for that style of game. They play so damn well, and it's such a unique gameplay experience. So, yeah, pumped for that. Would like to see an update. So, Nate the Hate, prominent leaker, insider, said that either 007, Wolf Among Us, or Amazon's Tomb Raider, one of those three will be at Summer Game Fest, he said. So, now it's kind of up to us to predict. Is it going to be 007? That's probably, out of all of these, the one I want to see, or I'm curious to see the most. I wouldn't say want to see, but curious to see the most, because it got revealed in like 2021, and then they popped back up at the Nintendo showcase. I was like, hey, we're going to put this thing on the Switch too. And I'm like, oh God. That kind of makes me less excited for it. It's like, what is this compromised experience gonna look like? But I don't know. The Switch 2 it seems like it's a decently powerful console. Maybe it is able to run something because it's able to run like Star Wars Outlaws and Cyberpunk. Obviously, compressed versions of those games. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to see what IO's cooking up with this 007 game. I mean, it's the perfect studio for the IP, so it should be fine, I hope. Tomb Raider is one that, like, I think we know what it's going to be, but I'm still excited to see it. We don't get many third-person shooter, single-player action-adventure games anymore, so definitely pumped to check it out, and hopefully with that Amazon budget funding it can be, like, fucking next level in terms of graphical fidelity and all of that shit. And then Wolf Among Us is probably the one from this list that I want the most. It's the game that kind of got me back into video games in 2012 or 2013, whenever. I fucking loved this game. And I've been waiting for the follow-up for forever. If I'm being honest, out of everything on this list, I feel the least confident in this one. I kind of feel like this thing's dead in the water. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to get the Wolf Among Us 2, but I hope so, man. Star Wars Zero Company. So this is that the tactics game from the X for Axis team. I forget the name of the studio, but yeah, they're the ones that are partnering with EA, and we saw the trailer was like the 3-minute cinematic trailer with 15 seconds of the tactical gameplay at the end of the trailer. I assume they'll do that again for, another update, kind of like how they did with Midnight Suns for the longest time. But yeah, Little Nightmares 3 is another one that we've been waiting on a release date for quite some time. I know that Supermassive is really busy. They have that Directive 8020 game that's supposed to come out this year as well. I feel like one of those will probably slip and not end up releasing this year, but I mean, I think Directive 8020 is set for October, so I would assume that Little Nightmares 3 will be the one that gets delayed again. I think that was also supposed to come out in 2024, so quite the turbulent development cycle, seemingly, for Little Nightmares 3. Of course, Hollow Knight Silksong is one that a lot of people are waiting for, are hotly anticipating, and I think we should probably all get ready to put the clown masks back on. I don't assume we'll be seeing that, but I don't know. They said that they're going to have some playable build at some weird museum or some shit in September for some reason, so hopefully it'll be out this holiday season for people who have been yearning for Hollow Knight Silksong. Saros. I assume PlayStation probably doesn't have enough to do like a full-on showcase or anything anytime soon, so I mean, hey, why, instead of putting it back on a State of Play stage, why not get the eyeballs here at Summer Game Fest and do the big Saros gameplay reveal for Summer Game Fest at the big showcase? And then, whenever it's getting closer to its release in 2026, prop it back up at a State of Play and just kind of spread the marketing out a bit for Saros. And next up, all right, let's get on into the world premieres, the world premieres, the games that people are, everything that we talked about before. There's some stuff in there that would get people pretty damn excited. Obviously, Hollow Knight or Tomb Raider, Wolf Among Us, 007, shit like that. But a lot of this is updates on things that we've already seen, that we already know about. The world premieres, I tried to think of games that we just don't know anything about, games that we might assume are in development, just stuff that would get kind of a once again, this is all going to have a personal slant to it. These are games that I would be excited to see, but I'm trying to think of some stuff out there that would be a world premiere, Summer Game Fest level world premiere. I'm not thinking crazy to the stars predictions like I would for the Game Awards, but somewhere in that kind of middle ground with a couple exceptions. So first off, the next game from Modern Storytellers, the people who made The Forgotten City, the team who turned the Skyrim mod into their own project and released it as a full game with The Forgotten City, which is a excellent indie game. Probably, if not my favorite indie game of the generation, very, very close. Fish Labs, the team that made Chorus, I am so down to play another aerial-based, fucking dog-fighting, fucking, shooter. Some flying around and shooting shit. NFL Lego 2K. This was rumored for a while. I have no idea if it's still going to happen. Wildcard Football kind of proved to me that I'm totally down for an arcadey NFL game in this vein. I never really had much interest in a Lego NFL game until playing Wildcard Football, but yeah, for sure down. Shadow Warrior 4 or Evil West 2, or once again, just a new IP from Flying Wild Hog. I think they crushed it with Evil West 2. Would be so down for something third person in that vein, but in a different setting. The Firewatch developer, I know that they were bought by Valve, and I think after they were acquired by Valve, they were working on a game called Valley of the Gods, but I don't know what has happened to that. It seems that has come to a halt completely, but Firewatch rules. And, I think that developer is really talented. So, would like to see more from them. Biomutant 2, or once again, just a new game from Experiment 101. Biomutant 2 got a great foundation. There's a lot to build off there. Just hopefully much less writing, much less dialogue in the sequel. Maneater 2, in the same vein of batshit. Just, games where you're playing as an animal running around wrecking shop. I think fucking Maneater sold like 10 million copies, so would not be surprised if a Maneater 2 is on the way. A new game from Asobo, the team that makes Flight Sim and the Plague Tale games. I assume, obviously, two separate teams inside of that same studio making those games, but Plague Tale Requiem came out in 2022, so I assume it's about time that we see the next thing from Asobo. Fire Pro 3D. So this is one of my more batshit picks on the list. I think that fans would love to see something from the Fire Pro franchise that has that same kind of over-the-top simulation system and functionality to it, but with the kind of look and feel of those N64 Aki era games. Once again, that's a me pick, but I'd love to see it. Eidos Montreal. This is another one that's probably a me pick. It doesn't seem like... I think that studio is pretty much just assisting with development on... is it Perfect Dark, I believe? Or is it Fable? They're helping with Xbox games. But I'd love to see something kind of akin to Guardians of the Galaxy, but with maybe a darker sort of... They could stay with the whole sci-fi setting, but just like a darker sort of tone to it, their own IP. Maybe even tinge it with a little bit of immersive sim RPG qualities in there. Yeah, I think that studio, it's a bummer to me that Deus Ex is kind of just lingering. Just Embracer holding that IP hostage. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. This game sold extremely well. I would assume they're working on a follow-up. I know they're putting out tons of DLC and shit for Kakarot, so I would assume at the same time they're working on a follow-up, or just not even necessarily a follow-up, just another third-person open-world game, open-world kind of action-adventure thing in the Dragon Ball Z universe. I'd be totally down just to see a new story in this universe. Ember Lab, the team that made Kena Bridge of Spirits, or Kena Bridge of Spirits, I hope once again that they stay true to what they nailed with that first game. The incredible art style, the third person action adventure kind of linear 8 to 12 hour sort of experience, that PS2 feeling style of game. I hope we get another game in that vein from Ember Labs. Blue 12, the Stray developer. I think Stray sold incredibly well, so I assume we're going to get something very similar, maybe even just a straight up sequel, Stray 2. But yeah, Stray was fucking huge, so I think we're going to get more in that universe. Battlefield. So I know EA was talking about that they're, now that GTA is out of the way, they're feeling a little bit more optimistic for the launch of the next Battlefield game. I assume this is probably early 2026. I don't think we'll get a release date. I don't even know if we'll get necessarily a gameplay trailer, just some sort of reveal, cinematic reveal to let you know, hey, it's on the way. And then kind of the big finale. Yeah, I saved this one for last because it's a hard game to follow. I assume if this was at Summer Game Fest, it would be the last thing shown, and that is Half-Life 3. The rumor right now is that it's playable from start to finish, and that this thing actually is going to launch in 2025. I kind of doubt that. I would assume that if it ever launches, it's quite a bit later than 2025, but I have no fucking insider information. It's just hard to believe. It's one of those rumors that's really, really hard to believe. We'll have to see it to believe it, but hey, once again, what better if you're not going to get GTA 6 in 2025? Well, how about you get Half-Life 3 instead? Two things that seem like just mythological fucking creatures that are stumbling into the release blocks for 2025. I don't know what release blocks mean, but games that you would have never expected to actually see, you're actually going to see them back to back. And Half-Life 3 is even more. It's like you're going to get Half-Life 3 before GTA 6. If that's a reality that we live in, we definitely live in some odd times. But yeah, those are my Summer Game Fest 2025 predictions, hopes a little bit, possibilities, and everything in between. Let me know what you want to see at Summer Game Fest 2025, and let me know what you think we will see at Summer Game Fest 2025. And yeah, always pumped for these shows, and I hope you all are as well. Hit me in the comments, like the video if you like the video, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.